Hello, and we should be live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another edition of Crewing the Ship with the Save Ancient Studies Alliance. This time, we're featuring our new partner, Isegoria Publishing. We have Manolis Pagkalos here with us today, and I am your SASA host, Cassandra. Just a little bit of some information for you today. What is SASA? So we're the Save Ancient Studies Alliance. Our mission is to reverse the current downward trend in the study of the ancient world by engaging the public and bringing together students and scholars to share their passion for the study of the ancient world in order to inspire a vast new generation of students. You can find us on all of your major social media platforms. Just simply search Save Ancient Studies Alliance to learn more. Our live event protocol, we do just ask that you please be kind and respectful in the chat. Listen and ask thoughtful questions throughout the event. As they come up, we'll read them out should any come in. Please be patient with technology and those administering it. Our live events are all live streamed on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and the recordings will be posted on the above platforms shortly after the event. And lastly, have fun.
Very important, indeed.
Exactly. If you do like the work we do here at SASA, please consider becoming a recurring donor. If you enjoy our live events, our archaeogaming, book clubs, reading groups, please consider becoming a supporter with a recurring monthly donation. For as little as $3 a month, you can help us save ancient studies. And just go to saveancientstudies.org/donate to learn more. Or you can scan that little QR code in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, and it takes you straight to that page. And lastly, thank you for joining us. I'm just going to fix that. There we go. And pull up my notes. So, Isegoria Publishing. They're an independent, open access digital publisher of books and journals in classical studies, world archaeology, and the humanities. And they offer a platform for researchers of all backgrounds to present their work without costs or any other barrier. Isegoria is the first of our partners on these highlights that takes an active role in the publishing industry, and it's an honor to have Manolis with us today. Could you perhaps introduce yourself and your role at Isegoria, as well as maybe give us a brief intro into what you work on there?
Yes, so thank you very much, Cassandra. Thank you very much to Saving the Ancient Studies Alliance and to the audience joining today. My name is Manolis Pagkalos, and I am editor-in-chief in Isegoria Publishing, CIC, and I will come back to the name itself in a moment. We are a publishing house, publishing research in classics, in classical studies, broadly defined, includes whatever you may think: ancient history, archaeology, epigraphy, numismatics, reception of the past. And we are Isegoria Publishing, but in reality, we're trying to be much more than that. We think of ourselves as an educational hub. We are here to promote what SASA does also, promote classical studies, and help colleagues throughout the world to publish their work without the inherent bias that it is very, very evident in publishing across academia. As an editor-in-chief, we operate Isegoria since July 2021. So it is roughly 2 years. In 15 days, it is 2 years of operation. And since then, we have been doing a lot of stuff, but mainly publishing our classical journal, PNIX. We will be publishing very shortly the third issue, and as well as preparing the first 2 edited volumes as a publishing house. Next to it, we have been doing a lot of good work with teaching an introduction to Greek epigraphy course two times in Brazil, and this November in Mexico, and as well as participating in various events to outreach for classical studies and the problems in publishing, in the voice of colleagues, especially non-Anglophone, that is.
That's certainly a lot to take on. Uh,
Mm,
no small task at all.
indeed. So, please, Cassandra.
Yeah. So I'd say, I guess, what led to the start of Isegoria Publishing? Why choose to take on such a big task?
It is a very big discussion indeed. We, with Stefanos Apostolou, uh, I should say Dr. Stefanos Apostolou, who unfortunately couldn't join us today, we were discussing a very long time about the problems and the pitfalls of publishing and of following a career in academia. Both of us doing a PhD in the United Kingdom. And for a long time, we were kind of persuading ourselves that we should do something else to help colleagues that have been in the same position with us. And I think that was the initiation, like a very long discussion in which both of us were discussing the same points. And at the dawn of things, maybe it was COVID that make the whole process go on a bit faster, we decided to do it, to put on the effort and maybe start at first a journal, but then a journal would need a house. So is that a publishing house? Yes, maybe. And then maybe the publishing house will become something more. And this is the process that we found ourselves now. So, in one sentence, we really need and want a name to support colleagues worldwide to publish and disseminate their research, very good research, especially those working outside Anglophone academia, to publish, have a voice, uh, and actually mingle together without borders in a way of bringing down the bias, bringing down the barriers, mainly financial barriers, okay, and maybe adding a bit of goodwill into the whole publishing sector, which we think is not heading in the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And I said it's a big undertaking. One thing that occurred to me while you were talking was, some of our audience might not know about the challenges that people encounter when undergoing academic publishing. Can you go into that a bit and how Isegoria helps people overcome those hurdles?
Yeah, yeah. So the challenges are mainly, I think, based on status. So if you are a master student or a PhD candidate, it is harder to publish in an academic journal. And then a lot of barriers are based on language. So if you are not a native English speaker, or even if you are a native speaker, or maybe your name does not indicate that, you may have problems in publishing in well-standing journals. And then we can have a very big discussion about the metrics of journals in academia. Uh, it's another topic completely. But if you wish to be heard or for your paper to count for maybe an academic post after your PhD, you need to publish in high-ranking journals, which make it even more difficult because of the aforementioned reasons. Uh, so indeed, we are here, and we wish to create this kind of environment for colleagues, especially early career colleagues or PhD students. Uh, this kind of collaborative environment where we take a lot of the weight of the publishing procedure, that is maybe editing, that is commenting and strengthening an author's work, and leave most of the creative part, that is the actual work, to the author. in a way, we have introduced two steps of peer review. One internal, where we, as editors, and the advisory board, now comprising 30 members, all academics throughout the world, 18 countries in the last count, um, take a decision about the publishing material. And then we have a second round of peer review where the reviewers, experts on the field, blind peer review, double this time, it, they offer their constructive feedback in order to strengthen the paper. And thus the end product is completely different from the starting product, the one the author has submitted for review, and in which we take into account the core idea and the argument. We do not care that much about language or structure. We are there to help the author work through that for English speaking academia, but we care about the core. Is there any value on the author's ideas? Is there enough grounding, enough knowledge to discuss these things? Is it a fresh idea? If the answer in all these questions is yes, we will undertake to publish the paper and work with the author into making a better paper at the end.
No, that's great. And because I know there are a lot of entry costs to publishing for people,
Yes.
especially early in their careers. I guess, what has been some of your favorite things to work on as someone who works in publishing?
So the best thing, and we have done that a lot with Stefanos, is to work with ideas. Be it an idea about a paper that has been formulated in something publishable for our journal, and then work with the reviewers, internal and external, in making it much more mature if needed. But also in the way that we have been structuring our first two edited volumes, where we had brainstorming interviews with the editors to think about the material, the idea, and the title of the book, so as to focus in something that does not appear regularly in publishing houses nowadays. So as we are not for profit, this is the CIC, I said, Isegoria Publishing Community Interest Company for British law. We're a not for profit publisher. That means that any money that we may have as a donations or maybe funds from an author, institutional funds that is, or research funds, will go on for the promotion of the work of other colleagues. And that means that we do not care about being also open access. We do not care about selling. Okay, if the idea is good, we will help you build on it. We'll find maybe other people to work with you on it, if it's a book, an edited volume that is, and then we'll publish it. And that cost for you €0, dollars, pounds, what is, and it will also cost $0, euros, pounds for the audience. It's free. It's a product of knowledge. It's a product of research. It should be out there. Having said that, of course, we are happy to accept funds because, as you have said, Cassandra, publishing is a costly business, and we are doing it with the support of our own work and maybe with the support of our authors.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that tune, I put a little QR code on the screen. People can certainly scan it, take them right to your website, where I assume if they're interested, they can click around, learn more, perhaps donate. Now, is there anything people watching can do to help or engage with your project if they want to?
Of course. This is an excellent point, Cassandra. We are a community interest company, yes, and we define community as scholars, students, or the general public interested in the classical studies. Okay. And there are many ways that you may wish to partake in our journey. So, of course, we can start by the audience, like reading the material, disseminating and sharing research being published by Isegoria or PNIX, our scientific journal. But then we can speak about scholars and students from the ancient world who wish to publish. Uh, if we are very welcome to accepting their work, especially if they have found it very difficult to publish, they have tried and they have failed. We are here to support their journey and tell them really that sometimes it is not their fault for not being able to publish. And we promise that if the idea is there, we will work with you to make your paper better and, of course, publish it. And the process is vice versa. So if the idea is there, we say yes, we'll publish it, and then we will make your paper better. This may be with structuring ideas, but also this would be with editing English language for academic English. And this also means maybe for colleagues who have organized a conference or a panel and they wish to publish the proceedings. Please get in touch with us. We are happy to discuss about possibilities of publishing, and we will work with you to promote your work. And then, of course, for colleagues who are already into this field and they wish that they would add something more on it, uh, please get in touch and we can discuss ideas, we can discuss pathways forward, because this is a community project and we already have taken a lot of feedback by our community, and we are okay, we are risking some things and we are trying, and we may want you there to say yes, this is working, no, maybe this is not working, this is an idea, let's do it. And we're happy to undertake this kind of brainstorming. And that may involve, of course, positions as an advisory board member. As I said, now we have 30 members from 18 countries across the world, all within institutions. So feel free to get in touch for any reason, to give a comment on our published work, to give a comment on our pages, to give a comment about things that you may wish that we will be doing, and just brainstorm about problems, solutions, and the way forward. We're very open.
Good. And I think that's so important for people to hear what you said earlier, that it's not necessarily their fault if they weren't able to be published earlier.
Yes.
I know that can be really soul crushing for early academics to get rejection after rejection.
Yes, we
Yeah, go ahead.
yes we say that because we are both academics. Stefanos, now honorary fellow in University of Nottingham. Me, I have just finished a post in Groningen, and I moved on to Greece in the Research Center for the Humanities, and maybe moving now into China. We shall see. But we have been there and done that, and we have felt both sides, and we know how it works. And having said that, when we say that we help our authors, we mean that we have people in all stages of the review thing where they are uh, si- um, in the same mind, okay, similarly minded. They are there to help colleagues rather than, I don't know, put a nail on the research.
Yes.
Because very often we find this kind of um, a kind of competition, like we cannot publish this because it is wrong, or because I do not agree to it, or because you said so and so, but you haven't read so and so. And we are here to say that, yes, it may be the case that we disagree with the conclusions, but we agree with the process. We agree with the debate, with the discussion. So if there is enough reason and a valid argument, We are here to support the process and, of course, help you publish it. Having said that, we understand that a lot of established academics and publishers work in a different level, maybe, but we are working towards the same level as well. So we have been already been indexed by Google Scholar. We're working to be indexed by Scopus, and the next step is the Directory of Open Access Journals, DOAJs, and then maybe the Arts and Humanities Citation Index. So we will be doing all these steps to make sure that the work that you will be publishing with us will be acknowledged and can be used in any further attempts in academia, be it a contract or a promotion. But we want you to be with us, and we will be with you as allies because we face the same problems.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I was going to ask, have you had any formal training in ancient studies?
Of course, yes. I am a doctor as well, so Dr. Pagkalos, if you wish. I have studied my PhD in the University of Leicester. I graduated in 2018, doing research in Hellenistic history and the ways that ancient communities used their past. So it is memory studies and use of the past in the past, reception in a way. Other Professor Graham Shipley, so people who are interested in Hellenistic history may know him. The same goes for my colleague Stefanos Apostolou, Dr. Stefanos Apostolou from University of Nottingham, with his research in Aeolian identity, Asia Minor, throughout Hellenistic period, and the question is again identity. I think that is a shout out for Stefanos. He just published a nice article about his research in the Ancient History Bulletin, I think a week ago, so you can check it. So we have been, both of us, in this very long trip. We have faced the same difficulties. We know some stuff about the ancient world, and we know that we need to support dissemination, research, and outreach because of the current situation across, I would say, the global north, where people think that studying something about the humanities, more so if it is ancient studies, no matter what, does not make you a relevant member of the market. And we shout at all of those people that it is not the case. That our colleagues and our graduates, people who have studied the ancient world, have a lot to do and bring in any kind of post, more so in academia, of course.
Absolutely, absolutely. One thing I'm curious about, the name Isegoria. How did that come to be? How did you decide on that name?
Isegoria. We have to go back into time, right? Isegoria is uh, the core, I should say, the core of the ancient Athenian democracy. And we may debate for a long time if ancient Athenian democracy was a democracy or not. But suffice to say that for those people who participated into the constitution, it was a democracy. And Isegoria uh, defines the most important feature, the ability of all the members to have fair voice, equal voice into decision making. Okay. And we chose Isegoria exactly because of the meaning. Our motto below our Isegoria logo is making it fair for scholars everywhere, because we wish to give the opportunity for all scholars to voice their research on equal standing. We do not care about degrees, where they came from. We do not care about origins, countries, color, gender, class. We do not care about any of it. We care about the research itself. So, do you have anything to say about classical studies? Is it structured? Do you have an argument? Is it valid? Then, yes, feel free. We are here and we will support you through each step of the procedure.
Perfect. And I think, the research should be paramount. Of course, I can only speak for myself. So I'm glad that there's an organization out there, such as Isegoria, that's making it possible for scholars to put out their research. Um, we've got just a few minutes left. Is there anything you want to plug? Any projects coming up? Anything you want to leave people watching with as we wrap up?
Yes, of course. First, then let's say that we will be talking again with Sasa on the 25th of July in a workshop about ways forward in classical studies as part of the virtual annual conference of Saving the Ancient Studies Alliance. And we are working and we are in different stages of our production of our two edited volumes. One is a discussion about immigrants and democracy, ancient and modern, by a Chinese and a Brazilian colleague, which is now entering the last phase of production. And the second volume is from two colleagues in the University of Puerto Rico, discussing non-places in the ancient Mediterranean, a philosophical term discussing places that are not meant to be. And you can take it very literal, or you may go very up in the philosophical scale. So these are two projects that we are very proud of, our first books. Hopefully, one of them will be published before the end of the world of the of the world, of course, before the end of the year. But we are planning many other things. Most importantly, we started a new section of reviews in PNIX, our scientific journal. So this issue will be coming out next week, I think. Will feature the first review with a twist. We do have, along with a review, an author profile where we have an informal interview with the author or the editor of the books. So if you're a colleague who just published a book or an edited volume, feel free to get in touch with us. We will find an academic reviewer to review the book, but we will also have a spotlight for you in an interview, and you will be published in our journal. So, both a bit of outreach and marketing, but also a bit of academic work and book review for the actual work. These are the new things that we are doing this year. But as we said earlier, as per Cassandra, please get in touch. If you have ideas of things that academic publishing is missing, we're here to discuss them. If you wish to have your work published, we're here to discuss this as well, be it an article, be it a book, you name it. And also, we have launched a series of workshops for maybe PhD candidates who are wishing to enter a next phase of their career. This is proposal funding, research writing, publishing. If you wish to get into this kind of support, still get in touch with us. As we said, we may be named a publisher, Isegoria Publishing, but we think of ourselves as much more than that, as an educational hub. So we are up here for anything that you may need for your trip in academia.
Wonderful. Right. So I'm just going to leave people with a few things. If you want to learn more about Isegoria, scan the QR code, check out the website that I put in the chat, search them on socials. If you want to support SASA, there's a QR code in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Definitely do that. It helps us fund things like the virtual conference coming up July 23rd to 24th, where we have many wonderful presenters and workshops, Isegoria among them. And yeah, everyone else, have a fantastic Sunday. And it's been wonderful talking with you, Manolis.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Cassandra. Thank you very much, Saving the Ancient Studies Alliance, And thank you to the audience for joining in. Please stay in touch.
Yes,
Have a very
absolutely.
nice day.
You too.